And good morning to everybody that has joined us both on the radio and on streaming. This is Gold Harbour Radio, ZMH 286, Patricia and David, on another 100% cloudy day on this, the 1st of October. Hard to believe, isn't it? The 1st of October. 16 degrees it is outside, so it must know that spring is here. 1027.2, pretty high bar, which will be good for those people wanting the wind in a better direction to arrive today and tomorrow and the next day. 3 knots of northerly wind, so they'll be all excited about that as well. Be more outside there in the ocean. They unfortunately won't hear us, but they'll be less than 30 degrees, well, greater than 30 degrees if you look at it that way. They'll be south of 30 degrees. Boats like Ms. Murphy and Bonaire, they'll all be looking forward to arriving in the next few days. And nothing evil, bit of a front going through tomorrow, but nothing of an evil nature, not a horrible one. So apart from the headwinds that they've had, it hasn't been too bad a passage. A few leaks to probably fix by the time they get here with the southwest seas. But other than that, not too bad at all. And I see we have a few more boats wanting to leave. Must be something wrong with the tropics that you're all wanting to leave fairly early this year. One boat we know of, certainly, from Fiji, Good Morning Nexus at Strike, and quite a few in Tonga, both in Vavau and Pangamoto. I hear from Flying Fish in Pangamoto that there are about half a dozen boats there waiting to have a look at the end of the week. So David will probably start talking about that one tomorrow. Today we'll catch up on a few things, but looking at the next passage probably tomorrow or the next day. Nothing evil at this stage, but not a perfect one. But then who's going to get a perfect passage? So we'll probably cover the next passage tomorrow because it's still a ways away. All right, I'll just see if there's anything urgent from anybody. There's a fair bit of wind around Bunda. I just read 10 to 15 knots. Thank you guys. Southeast, boy, it's really, really blown at Pangamoto. South-southeast 28, gusting 34 there at the moment. A lot of wind, as we talked about on Friday. Philome report that it has dropped a bit there in the lagoon in New Caledonia. It was easterly 18 to 22 yesterday. Now it's easterly 5 to 10. Uvea, it's honking. Thank you, Yana, on Alcyon there. 15 to 20 east to southeast, 100% cloud cover. Plenty of wind around, but believe it or not, we actually had quite a beautiful weekend here in New Zealand. We went down to Tauranga. We had an 80th birthday party, believe it or not, our second. It was the man ZL3 Delta Mike who runs the Hamnet, and it was actually quite pleasant. I took the opportunity to go and have a look at the big new travel lift at Vessel Works there, because I know that will be of interest to those of you going or wanting to go to Tauranga. It's a really good new development there. Big new building for Hutchison Boat Works and a big new area. You don't have the train out of the water anymore, of course. It's the big travel lift, but it's certainly a big one. All right, let's have a look at the news such as it is. Quick bit of sporting news. The All Blacks beat Argentina 35-17. South Africa beat Australia 23-12. The Europeans annihilated the US in the Ryder Cup. The Russian Grand Prix, Hamilton won the Grand Prix in Russia. Wasn't a very happy win because his teammate Bottas was actually winning and was ordered to let Hamilton go past so that Hamilton got a few more points ahead of Vettel. But anyway, it was a good win for Mercedes. It's Jimmy Carter's birthday, 94 he is. I didn't even know he was still kicking there, but he is going well, both he and his wife. Petrol in New Zealand went up again at midnight on Saturday night. It now costs me more than $100 to fill my little car. I guess we just have to grin and bear it. Oh, if you are on Facebook, it's been hacked again. Over 90 million people got hacked, which I suppose is not all that many out of 2.2 billion users, but they have been hacked again. So if you go onto Facebook, you might have to log back in. They froze a lot of the accounts that had been hacked. Information stolen, the usual stuff about who you are, what sex you are, how old you are, etc. So there you have it. I don't know why people use Facebook. It's a pain in the neck. But anyway, Facebook, you might want to check that if you are a Facebook user. Earthquakes. Boy, there's been a whopper of an earthquake in Indonesia. Pictures are spectacular. It's at Sulawesi. Now, if you can imagine the whole Indonesian archipelago, and you know where Jakarta and Yogyakarta and Surabaya are, and that long sort of swathe across the bottom. Well, if you go up, if you go to the east there and go up, there's a huge island called Sulawesi, and that's where the earthquake was, and a huge tsunami, quite a spectacular tsunami there. Well over 800 people have lost their lives in that one, either injured in the earthquake or drowned in the tsunami, particularly around the city of Palu. It was a 7.5 earthquake. Okay, closer to home, it is the New Zealand school holidays for 2 weeks. Now, what's that got to do with you? Well, it means that there will be a lot of rugrats in some of the family-friendly resorts in places like Fiji in particular. It's the sort of the end of winter, so people like to get away for a bit of warmth if they're not skiers. The ski fields are still going quite well. But if you want a peaceful dinner, don't go to a family-friendly resort for the next couple of weeks because there'll be a bit of noise around. Okay, Tesla, Elon Musk has had a bit of a to-do with the Securities and Exchange Commission. If you've kept up with that one, he's agreed to step down as chairman of Tesla and pay a $20 million fine to settle the charges brought by the SEC. I get grumpy if I have to spend $80 on a speeding ticket, but imagine paying $20 million. I suppose to him it's just sort of like my $80 speeding ticket, but $20 million is rather a significant amount. Oh, David reckons for him it's sort of like $80. Alrighty. Now, please listen up for this one. A life raft has been found. A ship heading towards New Zealand found a life raft. It's a Revere. These are the sorts of life rafts available from West Marine and Defender Industries. It was found on Friday, and they picked it up. In fact, we probably saw this ship arrive when we were walking around the mount on Saturday. It's on board. There was nobody inside it. It was picked up at about 32.5 and 176.5 east, but God knows where it was lost overboard. If anybody knows of any boat that has lost a life raft overboard, would you please make contact with someone? You can call the RCC via Maritime Radio, send me an email, and I will get it passed on and get you in contact. But if you have lost a life raft, I mean, these things are quite expensive, particularly if you want to get another one shipped into New Zealand. It's the usual sort of orangey yellow colour, 6-person Revere life raft. So please make contact. Our email is ghradio@extra.co.nz, or of course you can call Maritime Radio, New Zealand Maritime Radio, on any of the emergency frequencies and pass that message on that you have indeed lost your life raft, and they will tell you where you can go and pick it up. Of course, you won't have it between now and then, but it is safely arrived in New Zealand. All right, can't think of anything else of interest. No, just scanning through. I think that's about it, really, for what you need to know about. Yeah, I mentioned that David would talk about the next passage weather for you folks, probably tomorrow. It's a bit early to discuss it today. I'll just see if there's anybody that is on passage at the moment wants to call in. Anybody with anything? Boy, good morning, Graham. You are very light. I'm not getting into Fiji. Well, I'm not getting out from Fiji very much at the moment. So go ahead. I'll try and work it out. Over. Did you get any rain? Over. Oh, good show. Friday night. Yeah, I had an email from Heatwave and they'd got it up where they are too. So good that everyone got some rain. Get a bit of the dirt off everything, I suppose. So that was good. All right. And I've just got a report in from Obsession here, trying to read that. They've got 15 knots of the southeast at the moment too. Another Monday in paradise. Actually, it's not bad here. It has warmed up a bit, so not too bad at all. I'm just trying to remember where they are. 1744 and 177. And they mentioned an octopus. There was a hilarious video that's gone around the world from Kaikoura down here on our eastern coast of the South Island. Some kayakers had a GoPro on their boat, and out of the water, it's a bunch of kayakers, it was quite a nice day, and out of the water shot this huge bull seal with a large octopus in its hand, and he smashed it in his hand, in his mouth, and he smashed it in the face of this kayaker who got the hell of a shot. Anyway, the octopus clamped onto the kayak, and and all this is on film, and so the seal dropped the octopus, went back into the water. The octopus got pushed off the kayak with the guy's paddle, and it was all quite hilarious. It was an amazing video, which has gone on to YouTube. So I've actually bought one of these things to put in our car, and I haven't worked out how to use it yet. It's not a GoPro, it's the Sony equivalent, and you operate it all from your wrist. It's sort of like a big wristwatch, and you operate the camera from there. But the only trouble is, if you've got driving glasses on, you can't see all the tiny little things on the wrist. So I have yet to work that one out. All right, is there anybody else before I pass the microphone? Oh, you're back there now, Ron. I couldn't hear you before. Are you copying me okay? Over?
Well, I can look up this copy up here this morning, but the clock report this Thursday, as of last night, was at 31.50 and 1.50.
Yeah, so that was your estimate for this morning, or have you been in touch with him this morning? Over?
No, negative. The last was his estimate. This last night was at 31.50 and 1.51.50.
Yeah, Roger, could you just put out a quick call in case he's listening for Miss Murphy? I wouldn't mind to see how far he's got. We worked out his last night's position. He won't be in until Wednesday, in which case he will get a bit of a front tomorrow, but it's nothing evil. Just give him a quick call, please, Ron. Over.
Roger, Roger. Moving the Thursday, Joel Barber activity copy. No, nothing to report at just before tonight. This will be in the contribution.
Did you say Thursday? Over. Boy, I've just lost you completely. That's really strange, isn't it, Ron? Anyway, we'll keep track of him. He's sending in his reports. And, well, it doesn't look very nice in Lifu either. Raining, 100% cloud up there. So we'll be interested to see what David's got in line for the loyalties this morning. And it looks like all the buckets have been filled up there at Nananui Cake, Whistler and Heatwave and the like, and it's too windy for kiting. Boy, they're never happy, those kiting folks, are they? All right, let's see what it's like here, and we'll go from there. Here's David.
Okay, thank you, Trish. Good morning, everybody. Well, pretty windy, I guess, for most of you over the weekend up there in the islands, based on the reports that we've gotten and looking at some of the satellite images that I've seen as well. And as we mentioned on Friday, the pressure gradient that you've experienced is all thanks to the strong anticyclone to the south. The big weather maker, that one is, by lunch today, this is our high, needless to say, is east of the North Island, just a little bit east, roughly 33 south, 175 west. So that's the center of that big high. Central pressure, 1033. So quite potent, big mountain of air. Now that's being powered up by a 500 millibar ridge. That's pretty much as we forecasted on Friday. So not much has changed in that regard. Now there's a second ridge at 500 millibar that's supporting the next surface high. And this one is just east of Sydney. And it's a strong one too. It's 1031, 1031 millibar. Now, in between these two upper level ridges is a shortwave trough. And it's producing a low, and that happens to be over the South Island right now. And there are a number of troughs and ridges that are pushing north over New Zealand. And in fact, one of those frontal bands are what the yachts that have not quite got to New Zealand are going to encounter. Now, by lunch tomorrow, our two surface highs, well, they don't move very much, but a merger looks to occur on Wednesday. The western high becomes absorbed, more or less absorbed by the eastern high. And at that time, it should be centered near 33 and 165 west. So it continues its journey to the east just a little bit and starts to integrate the western high with it. Now, the ridge that's caused by all of this is going to extend west all the way to Australia. So if you could picture that elongated ridge that runs from the east to the west. Now, remember what we always warn about on the northwest corner of a big high. Well, it looks like a polar dip is going to form at that point. The axis of this will be about 173 east, and that's going to cause winds to become essentially east to east northeast following the curve of the isobars. And then as those isobars and winds make a bend to a polar direction and then start to head equatorward, they make that nice sharp bend, they slow down. And when they slow down, the air piles up. When the air piles up, it causes quite a bit of convective activity, and that's going to bring cloud and showers to that area of longitude. So, where is Liua, our tropical cyclone? Not much left of it, but it is still active. It's still there. It's indeed moved west, as we anticipated it would on Friday. And it's roughly 12 south and about 156 east. And it's pretty much on its way to giving a bit of a hiding to the Louisiades. And a trailing trough from this runs to the southeast, and that's going to affect a bit of New Caledonia, especially the Loyalties, and Vanuatu as well. There is an additional trough that's affecting northern Fiji, and to the north of there is yet another trough that runs from Rotuma, and then it goes on to Tokelau. Now, the Fiji trough also runs to northern Tonga and goes on to Niue and on to the northern Cooks from there. So we've got troughs all over the place up in the tropics for the moment. Now, the arrival yachts for New Zealand, they can't hear us, but for those of you that are interested in this, pretending maybe you would have taken this passage, the frontal band has slowed down just a little bit, as I thought it might. Looks to arrive tonight sometime, sometime toward midnight, early morning hours, and that's preceded by northerly winds, and they'll be around 20 knots or so. Tuesday, expect easterlies, and this is what I was telling you about, where the frontal band kind of acts a little bit funny. The two highs start to come together at that point as well. So we're not going to have a very vicious frontal band there, but it is there. So the winds are going to be light to moderate, turning northeast late in the day, and all with a chance of showers, but not a bad arrival for those yachts that decided to take this particular window. Now, those of you that want to leave on Friday, that's the word that we've gotten. I have looked at that, and it looks like a doable passage. There will be a frontal band that you'll encounter probably on the Saturday time frame. Most of you are leaving from Fiji, so as you head south, Tonga too. Well, yep, you'll be getting affected by that as well if you're even leaving from Tonga. Now, how many of you are stopping at Minerva? We don't know. We haven't heard. That, of course, is an option. But after that frontal band goes through, there'll be a period of headwinds, not real strong headwinds, but headwinds nevertheless. And then eventually the winds start to come around to trades. And more or less is a reasonable passage. There is another frontal band that'll hit New Zealand about 10 days after that. So it's a little too far out to be sure. So I'll look at it tomorrow and Wednesday as well. You're not going to leave until Friday apparently, so we have a few days to let the models sort themselves out and see what changes that we may have so that you can get on your way to New Zealand. I always hate to do a report on Monday for that kind of a passage. A lot of the reports I get out of the islands areas are always a little bit iffy. The weekend staff, let's put it this way, sometimes, I don't want to say they fall asleep, but I'd rather wait a day or so to look at further data before I make any ideas up on what this potential might be. Okay, over to Tonga, where the troughs that we talked about are affecting most of the Nui Tupatapu area. There's a fairly active trough that's up there. The rest of Tonga, you could expect cloudy periods and a chance of showers off and on during the day. The reports this morning, these are 6 a.m. reports. Babao, southeast 12 knots. It was scattered cloud, broken as well, so a fair amount of cloud there. Barometer 1017. The Hapai's east-southeast 18. A bit of air. Scattered cloud in the barometer 1018. Tongatapu, southeast 12. Scattered, and barometer 1021. So we have a fair amount of pressure gradient there throughout the group. By lunch today, I would expect fresh to strong winds, southeast 25 knot winds, I believe, southeast 25. And on Tuesday, easterlies, so back a bit to about 25 knots as well. And on Wednesday, east to east northeast, the wind just keeps coming around. 25 knots, and there may be some areas of 30 knots. So you've got a few more days of wind for the Tonga area. There'll be some protected spots, of course, but out in the open water, that's what it looks like. Now over to Fiji, where our troughs that we mentioned, they're affecting mainly the northern part of the group, as our high to the south is maintaining a pretty strong wind gradient. Enough to create a wind warning by Fiji Met, and that's for all Fiji waters. And they're expecting east to southeast 20 to 30 knots. Poor visibility and heavy showers if you happen to be unlucky enough to be under one of these large thunderstorms or cumulus congestus. And these are big cumulus clouds that aren't quite thunderstorms yet, but they are big. Now, about the same forecast for tomorrow, so more wind, of course, to come. And the only radar that's operational in Fiji this morning is the Lambasa radar. So that's what I mean by the weekend. You never know what's going to happen there. So one radar only, Lambasa, and it shows quite a few showers north of Vanua-Levu. And of course, that's from the trough that's over Rotuma. And cloud is sort of sneaking towards Vanua-Levu and bringing some showers. And also scattered showers near Rambian and Taveuni. But unfortunately, I'm not able to give you reports on radar for other areas. But satellite imagery does show quite a bit of cloud over the group. So you could guess that no doubt there will be some showers from those clouds as well. Now, Vanuatu, they've got their share of cloud as well, thanks to the extended troughs, and it's pretty windy also. East to east-southeast, 20 to 25 knots, and tomorrow the winds are going to back a bit to maybe east-northeast, in the south mostly, and they're 20 to 25 knots. Up in the northern areas, a little bit lighter air, but changing in direction north to northeast about 15 to 20. Expect a shift on Wednesday, looking at south to south-southwest, about 15 knots or thereabouts. Now, plenty of cloud on satellite imaging for New Caledonia this morning. Winds by lunch look like easterlies, about 20 knots. Tomorrow looks like a little bit more convective activity. Winds for the southern lagoon, Île de Pan, north-northeast to northeast, about 15 to 20, and that would include the southern lagoon as well. And I would say the Noumea area, we're looking at north-northwest to west, and that includes the northern part of Noumea and north of there as well, further up the coast. And by Wednesday, southwest winds, southwest for most areas, about 15 to 20. The actuals this morning at 6 a.m., Amity Light was reporting easterlies 26 knots, Île de Pan east-southeast 17, and the wind gauge that's just off in Noumea easterlies 21 knots. So I know a few of you wanted to get into the lagoon today. I think it's a little bit choppy out there today, so hopefully it'll calm down in a day or so to get back out there. But not much fun when it's blowing that much out there in the exposed îlots. And what else? That's pretty much it from me. Any questions or comments come now. And in the next day or so, we'll talk about the next weather passage to New Zealand from Fiji and Tonga. So here's Patricia. Any questions come now?
Oh, there is somebody there, and I'm going to have to get you to call again. It's a bit noisy on the band this morning. Give me your boat name a couple of times, over. Well, I heard Gulf Harbour. I need your boat name a couple of times and where you are, over. I might just be hearing things. Did anybody that's listening hear a boat try and call us? No, I might be hearing things. We do need your help, folks, from time to time. If we are going to help you folk, we need your help to help us. I was just sitting here chuckling about the reports from Fulanga. We've got a couple of pilots down there. And this morning, one of them reported southeast 20, and the other one reported east northeast 20. I hope there's not a runway and they're both trying to take off at the same time. I'm just going to do a pause to see if anybody can relay anything that was coming into us. Hi, Candy. Andrew, yes, I am not hearing anybody. Did you hear someone, over? I'll leave you with Quintessa and let me know when you're finished. We might have to go to 82987 because it's getting a bit noisy with an Asian station on here. So Quintessa, please talk to iCandy. Go ahead, Andrew. It's rain showers in Savi too.
Is it?
Oh, sorry. Were you talking back to me? I was just talking to David, Andrew. Go ahead. Oh my goodness, he must be enjoying it. I bet he went to church yesterday. Okay, Penryn for another few days. Thank you very much for that. We'll put him down. Don't know what side he's on. It's a big lagoon, which you don't swim in, by the way. There's about 1 million sharks, but he's probably over the other side sheltering. So we'll put him down to Penryn for another few days. Thanks for that, Andrew. Over. Not sure what? He probably spent the time putting on another brew. Okay. Thanks, Andrew. Yeah, it's got a bit noisy now. Well, I'm going to have to rely on some of you hams out there to let me know when propagation starts to move as the sun comes south here. We might have to start moving probably in a couple of weeks, the sked a little bit earlier. But we'll wait and see. It's certainly getting a bit busy, noisy now. All right, thanks. And you're still up there in the northern Lao, I presume, over? Oh, that's good. Yep. Yeah, it looks like there's plenty of places to take shelter. Okay. All right. Thanks for the relay there. And we'll call it quits now. Is there anybody else wanting anything before we sign off? No, nothing heard. So leaving the frequency to you. Cheers, everybody.